The New Wife. Henry and Loretta had been married for 6 years. They were a nice couple and very much in love. Wherever Henry went, Loretta was always by his side. Then all of a sudden, Loretta became gravely ill, and not long after, she died. Henry was heartbroken. At her funeral, Henry barely spoke. He just sat there, staring at Loretta's coffin, a blank look on his face. Loretta's sister Marie tried her best to console Henry, but Henry just seemed lost without the one he had loved so much. "I do not know how I can go on without her," he told Marie. "Why don't you go away for a while?" she told him. "It might do you good to be away from here for a bit." "That's a good idea," he said. "I think I'll go back to my hometown for a while, to visit some of my old friends there." About a month later, Henry returned from his trip. He was seen driving into town with a woman in the passenger seat. Later, when he came to town to do some shopping, a few of the townspeople asked him who his friend was. When Henry seemed confused by the question, they told him they had seen a woman seated next to him when he drove into town. "Oh," he said, "that was my wife." The townspeople looked at each other, confused. "Oh, that's nice," they said, a little surprised that Henry had remarried just after a month since his wife's death. "Why don't you bring her into town tonight so we can all meet her?" one of the women said. "I will," said Henry. "I was going to bring her with me today, but she seemed a bit tired from the long trip and wanted to rest." Some days went by, and the townspeople began to see less and less of Henry, and even less of his new wife. Every now and then they would be seen driving through town, but that was all. A few months later, Marie stopped back in town to visit her sister's grave. She had heard about how quickly Henry had remarried, and was a bit angry about it. The more she thought about it, however, the more she was glad that Henry had found someone new to take his mind off his loss. Loretta would want him to be happy, after all. That day she ran into Henry in town. "Oh, it's good to see you again," she said. "I hear you remarried. I guess my advice was a little more than helpful." He stared at her strangely. "Yes," he said. "Thank you." "Well," she said, "may I meet her?" For a moment Henry looked distracted. It was as though his thoughts were elsewhere. Then he came around. "My wife has not been feeling well," he said. "In fact, that's why I am in town today. I need to buy some medicine at the pharmacy." "I see," said Marie. "Maybe another time." Some time later, Marie was back in town to visit her sister again. As much as she was glad about Henry's new marriage, she couldn't help but feel sorry for Loretta. "Oh, my beautiful sister, how could he forget about you so easily?" Later, while she was having lunch, she asked the waitress if she had seen Henry or his wife in town today. "No," said the waitress. "I haven't seen them yet today." "I'll pay them a visit," Marie thought. After driving down the old road that led to Henry's place, she walked up to the door and knocked a few times, but no one answered. "Hello," she called, but still no answer. She noticed that Henry's car was not in the driveway. They must be out somewhere, she thought. As she was about to leave, she thought she could see someone through one of the windows seated in a chair. Hello?" she called, but there was no answer. She tried the door and found it unlocked, so she went in. She made her way across the kitchen to the bedroom and knocked on the bedroom door, but no one answered. She opened the door to discover a woman seated in a chair by the window wearing a sun hat. "Hello," she said to the woman. "My name is Marie, and I'm a friend of Henry's." "You must be his wife." The woman said nothing. Assuming she was asleep, Marie nudged her to wake her up, and the woman's head fell backwards, the sun hat falling to the ground. Marie took one look. and screamed. Sitting in the chair was her sister Loretta, who had died months before.